Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Monster Mayhem, BeamNG.drive edition. Okay, so I'm going to do something just a little bit different in this video. And while certainly I've already shown you guys the Predator truck in one of my previous videos about my favorite trucks, this is actually a custom version of the Predator truck. You may notice we've got two sway bars on the back end, and that's on both sides. And you'll also notice that these are the Echo Work Cut Ukraine tires and sponsor plates and what's referred to as the bow tie extension on the chassis, the front end of the chassis here. Don't think that's normally there. You can see these blinking red and yellow lights. Those have to do with the RII system. And, oh, the other thing, oh, maybe they're only on the back end? Yes. On the back end, we have these chains instead of the normal yellow limiting straps, as you'll see on the front there. So like I said, this is a custom version of the Predator, and it was not made by anybody in the community because I basically had to finagle the game menu to make this happen. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's bring up the menu here. Go into menu, CRD, and then I have to come all the way down to the very bottom. This truck started off as this here Vaporwave truck, which comes with the Cut Ukraine tires. It's one of the only trucks that I have, that I know of, that has those tires. So I loaded in that truck, and then through the vehicle config, I had to load in this CRD 3.0 chassis, the bow tie, the center strip for the RII channel. There's a steel plate at the top of the cab in the roll cage. The sponsor plates, I put those on. And once you load in this chassis, because it came with a different chassis, I don't remember what one it was. But either way, load in that, and then you have to load in the custom Panther fiberglass body. And there's all these different bodies. So, yeah, this one's basically built custom. And then I did a bunch of different tuning options, very technical things. It's not very necessary to go into. The track we are on is another one that should be somewhat familiar. This is the All-Star Challenge track. I featured the freestyle version of this track. There was a bunch of trucks that I did. There was the Superman truck, I think. El Toro Loco was one of them. I ended up loading in one of the Avengers. But yes, this is actually the racing version of this track. And this, as I mentioned in that previous video, it's somebody basically took this and ripped it out of rigs of rods and put it into BeamNG.drive. So the cars do not crush, unfortunately. I hope somebody makes another version of this track where the cars actually will crush, because that would be nice. But this is the racing version of this track, and I've been kind of practicing, and that's why I have the Echo Work, the Cut Ukraine tires, is because I think those work better than the BKTs as far as racing goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some racing runs. Turn down that volume a little bit. It's probably going to override my voice. Okay, I'm going to stage this up as if I was really doing this at a real race. So come up to here. This is not the start line, but I like to use it as a basis for lining the truck up. Back straight up here. This is the start line back here. Get a little bit behind it, and then use first gear to get right on top of it there. All right, now the truck is in drive. And we're going to launch. You come over and you hit this jump here. Try not to hit the damn wall. Come around this bank curve here. Cross this jump. Cross this little jump here. Another bank curve. Not having a very good run of it right now. Come across here, and then the finish line is up here. Down there on the ground, you can see it. And then you gotta kind of lock it up to not hit the damn wall. That was not a very good run. Okay, we're going to try and take it out of the blue lane this time. Once again, we're going to line it up. Use the brakes very gingerly. Let off of them just a little to get it to roll forward. And we're ready to go. Hit it. Oh, and then there's a rut in the damn track there that always seems to hook me. Ugh. I keep having this problem, and I don't think it's the Ukraines, because I've had that happen while running the BKTs as well. But for whatever reason, there's like a rut in that little... those banked turns, and it's on both lanes. It only seems to happen every once in a while. We're on top of the thing here, and we'll try this again. This is going a lot better. If only just because we didn't hook that rut. And actually, I'm not exactly sure if it's a rut or if it's actually the transition between the flat part and where it starts getting banked. Oh boy, another nosedive. Get on the brakes easy. All right. This time we're going to do it from the cab cam. So let's try it like this. Go. Okay. Probably about to get into that wall again. I think I'm up on top of the bank. Oh crap, again with the damn wheelies at the end. I had to lock it up just to make sure I didn't fly into the crowd. Eesh. Fortunately for us, there's still a little backflip ramp over here that we can use to get a nice little backflip in. And you'll notice I like to line up on the far, not sure what you would call it, way towards the center line between the two lanes. I like to line up over towards that. And the reason for that is because it gives a better angle coming at the turn when you have to hit that first ramp. You come off the line, you go after this first little jump, then there's this turn here to hit this ramp. Ooh, that was nice and smooth. Ooh, this is a good run. Not sure how particularly fast it would be. We also managed to not hit the damn wall at the end. Flying off of that ramp at the end to cross the finish line, you end up landing and not having a whole lot of room for shutdown, so... There we go. Oh god, she hooked and went way to the left. Oh. Well, that just tore up the whole front end. Like I said, these crush cars don't crush. That just killed the truck there. Jesus. And I thought I had a good run going there. It was nice and smooth coming off of that first jump. See, I've managed through practicing this to find out that there's a nice little technique for running this racetrack. On that jump there, the first one, and the first jump, well, not the first jump, this jump over here, the pink one, and it works in the other lane too. You notice I tagged the brakes to get the nose of the truck to come down. And the reason for that is because it makes the truck land nice and smooth coming down that jump. You land right on the exit ramp, right in the angle. We're going to try and finish this run, even though it was kind of an abortion after spinning out in the first big turn. Slow it down. Yeah. So, let me kind of explain here a little bit. When you hit this jump over here, that ramp over there, and it applies to the other lane as well, but when you hit this jump, and you're coming down to land over here, you're going to land on this little exit ramp here. And when you're coming through the air, you want to tag the brakes a little bit to get the nose to come down so that it'll land right nice and flush with the ramp. And then you'll come down nice and smooth, and you won't bounce at all going into this first turn, or the first big turn. And then you want to ride it around nice and smooth. Got to try to, you kind of crab walk going through that corner there. Oh, we're going to line up for this other lane over here because we already did the pink one. Go. Back her on up, man. And I like using the Predator truck just because it's one of my favorite trucks. I really like the body style. It's the closest body style in the game, or at least it's one of the body styles that I was wanting to use for my own custom truck that I want to get put into the game. But it has that animalistic, it kind of looks like a wolf, even though it's supposed to be like a big jungle cat. The Predator was supposed to be like a Black Panther, and then of course there was Prowler and Pouncer. Prowler was a Bengal tiger, and Pouncer was a cheetah. So you got these three big jungle cats. But if you look at it, if you look at the front end, the face and everything, you got these fang teeth, you got these eyes, and there's kind of some like ridges to the nose. It kind of like bumps a little bit. And then you got the bulging kind of things for the eyes. And then you have these kind of pointy ears. It kind of looks like a wolf. Painted up right, it could look about right. But then somebody came out with the wolf's head monster truck, the body style. And that one actually looks a lot better, but they don't have that one in the game yet. Okay. So we're all lined up here in the blue lane. Let's go ahead and take a run out of this blue lane from the driver's perspective. And go. She just likes to torque over to the one side no matter which lane she's in. Ooh. Oh boy, going off the track. Oh, this is bad. Oof. Well, we got her shut down. That was not a very good run, though, at the end. And I don't know how particularly fast any of these runs would be either, so... There was an event that was held on this track. And if you go on YouTube, you can find it. Just look up the, let's see, All-Star Challenge. And it says Speed and Crush. But it was actually... They had, like, it was kind of similar to how in Monster Jam they were doing the Team Fire versus Team Ice thing for a while. But instead of doing that, this was done in Briggs of Rods, of course. It was... The two teams were named after the two captains of the teams, who were two guys from the Rigs of Rods monster truck scene. You know, if you go on the message boards there at simmonsters.com, they were two of the guys who were really well known in that community, and I think they might be a part of the BeamNG.drive monster truck community now as well, because a lot of people are kind of changing over from Rigs of Rods to BeamNG now that BeamNG is kind of the place to be, because the realism is just so much better and the graphics are so much better. And sure, if your computer is kind of old and you can't run BeamNG, then you're going to want to go with Rigs of Rods, but I had my new computer specifically built to be able to play BeamNG as well as other new games. So you bet your ass I'm going to be playing BeamNG. I can't really remember the names of the two dudes who the thing was named after, but it was, if you just go on thing and look up, what is it, Rigs of Rods, All-Star Challenge, and just make sure you look for that logo, the All-Star Challenge logo. You just look for that, you'll find that event. And the racing was pretty good, although there was no commentary on it, which was kind of boring. But these guys who upload these events really need to get better at doing the commentary and having, like, the full package. And that's something that I wanted to organize something like that. My own, not my own, but a league where we would do racing and freestyle, and it would be very cinematic with multiple camera angles and commentary and dedicated judges for the freestyle and plenty of drivers and people to make custom tracks for us so that we would have cool tracks to race on and do freestyle on. Anyways, let's take another run at this pink lane from the driver's perspective. Go. See, that was nice and smooth. And you just have to kick it into the berm, the banked turn. Across this little jump here. Try and stay out of the damn wall. Grab, walk it over here, come around here. And here we're going to do something a little bit different because I feel like you should also be able to go ahead and take it for a second lap. Nice and smooth again. And then I hooked the rut. Somehow saved it. Saved it. And that's one of the reasons why I would like to see them do this with like multiple laps, because it allows more room for catching up and then it rolls again. No, I said fix it, damn you. Get up on... Jesus. I think I have something in my tuning set up a little bit wrong on the truck for the suspension, or... because this is actually one of the things that I like a lot better about BeamNG than about Rigs with Rods, because in this game you can actually tune things on the truck. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to park her back here in the pits. We go to config, and then we go to tuning. You've got front and rear ride height, so that determines how high up the truck sits. And I've got it set at -30 for both of these right now, because this is what I've been finding to be a good setup for racing. For freestyle, you want the truck to sit up a little bit higher, but for racing, you want it lower so that it corners better. And then front and rear brake torque, I have set at about 80 because I tried at 100 and it just seemed to be too much. The fuel volume, I always like to set it at max because I just like to have plenty of fuel to play around with, because if you run out of fuel, the truck does shut off because you got no fuel to burn to keep the thing running. The engine sounds, RPM limit, cut time, and RPM limit, I don't usually mess with those. Same thing for this different powertrain stuff, the radiator stuff. The steering, however, the front and rear steering rate, I usually put at 100%. Supercharger stuff I don't mess with because I really don't know how to tune those things. The suspension stuff is probably where I need to tune things, but again, I have no idea how to do it. And then the only thing that I do tune a lot is the tire pressure. And I've got it set at about 15 PSI for front and rear. And then the damping is 1,500 Newton meter per second, I think, is what that's supposed to be. And that's... it says the damping of the tire sidewall. So that affects if you're trying to sidewall save it when it's on its side, which comes up quite often when you're doing freestyle. But the pressure in the tires helps with racing. Seems to have a little bit more air pressure, helps for racing, maybe a little bit less for freestyle. Going to turn this back down to 11 because that's usually about the default. And again, I really wish I knew what I was doing with the rest of this stuff, because I could really help myself. We're also going to get the rear end up a little bit higher than the front, because that also usually helps with steering, although this is probably going to end spectacularly badly. I think I just did a run out of the blue lane, but... Okay, we're lined up. Let's go without the driver perspective. Let's just do normal camera. And we're into the damn wall. Still getting into it. I'm probably also shooting myself in the foot there with that turn. When I come off of that jump right before it, I'm kind of turning the front wheels to steer into the turn, but it's also throwing the truck off as it flies through the air. So all in all, I suppose it wasn't a too bad run other than running into the wall on the first big turn. All right, and go. Oh, great, I think I broke something in that front wheel there. I saw sparks coming off of it. Going over. Out of my lane, so that'd be a DQ, but finish the run anyways. I'm really trying to dial this thing in as far as the settings go. So I don't think going down on the tire pressure was the smart thing to do. So we're going to bump it back up. This thing really likes to be stupid. And you can't, despite being able to click there, you can't really just use the, well, maybe you can. A lot of times that doesn't want to work, though, just using the keyboard to type it in. See, and then it changes anyways. Weirdness. Oh, no. Let's just screw around a little bit and do some freestyle, huh? I always have to be careful about hitting that obstacle because it's real good at tearing off four-link bars. Ooh. Nice backflip. Actually. Oh, I gotta forget. Yeah, I keep forgetting about those cars being there. They don't crush, and they have no give to them, so it's basically like hitting a brick wall. And it's not usually recommended to do freestyle on a racing track. Let's try this. This is going to be dumb, but yeah, like I said, dumb. Oh, yes, and those stupid concrete blocks there, those cinder blocks, are real good at tearing up the tires for some reason, too. There's still a lot of things about this game that are not quite right. And as weird and glitchy as that looks with the volcano clipping through the truck, I think that's going to be the end for this video. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Uh, I do apologize for being or having such a huge gap in between this video and the last Monster Mayhem one, because it's, you know, I try to do like a showcase to showcase new content that comes out, and there's just not really a whole lot of new interesting content coming out on BeamNG.drive. You know, the guys work on stuff, but it seems to take a lot longer for them to get it working and get it like perfected, because BeamNG.drive is a lot more complicated. And I really do hope that they add more things to, like, say, this thing here. Like, where's the option to customize your exhaust headers? Where's the option to just change tires instead of having to go through all the BS that I told you about earlier, where I had to load in the truck that had the tires I wanted and then finagle all the other options to make it into the Predator? Why can't we just change tires whenever we want? Just have it as an option over here. You know, the exhaust headers, being able to change. You actually can change motors, but there's not a whole lot of options. The Ford Performance engine sounds the same as the Merlin engine, unless I just haven't downloaded the right pack of sounds, which there are sound packs, at least one that I know of. But maybe somebody who knows what they're doing more with this game will come along and tell me how to do things better, because I would really like to be able to change tires at will, the exhaust headers, because I don't really care for these headers going forwards like this. there's a bunch of Bigfoot trucks in the game where they have headers that come backwards, and I would prefer those. Although these ones here are still better than the ones that are on the Gravedigger trucks. Although the ones on the Gravedigger trucks look cool, the ones that are swept up to come up around the back. The problem I have with those is the exhaust smoke that comes out of the header goes right into your face when you're jumping, flying through the air, because the smoke comes right back into the camera. And it's weird because that exhaust smoke shouldn't even be there because you can't see it in the real world. So I don't know why it's in the game, but the only time you can see smoke coming out of the exhaust headers is like if the engine is hurt, like if you're running on 7 cylinders or you have some other mechanical problem that would cause smoke. But normally, smoke doesn't really, not visible smoke on, anyways. And then, of course, when you roll the truck and the engine is starved of oil, you start seeing white smoke come out. That's a little bit more realistic, but yeah. Yeah, you can even change things about the suspension on certain trucks, but this, well, not the truck, but I think it has to do with the chassis. But yes, I do hope that they add in those options, changing the tires, changing the exhaust headers, changing the suspension package. Even though this truck has good suspension package, I like the double nitrogens. There are some people who like the hybrid setup with one nitrogen and one coilover shock. I know the Max D trucks like to run that setup a lot because Tom Mentz likes that stuff. He also likes the chain limiting straps, although he has his all the way around. That would be another option that would be cool to be able to customize is your front and rear limiting straps, whether they be the little yellow tethers or you can actually change the color of them or have them be the chains. And then you'd actually be able to change the color of those maybe. And this one also has, as I mentioned before, the 2 sway bars on the back, which is not normal. I would also prefer to have the kind of bent L-shaped, almost hockey stick shaped sway bar things on all the sides. And being able to change rims would also be nice because there are some different rims. Being able to change the appearance of the motor, you can already do that. And then being able to change the sounds of the motor separately would also be nice. Hopefully the developers, or the, maybe not developers because I don't think it's the official developers who actually make the game itself, but the people who work on it for the BeamMonsters.com stuff they add. Right now they're busy working on the Willman slash Mentz chassis because that's one of the only ones that's not in the game so far. We've got CRD and we've got the CRC, but we don't have the Mentz chassis for his Max D trucks. They're working on it right now. They have a like a beta, or maybe it's still an alpha, but they have a like a preliminary version of the chassis and they're still working the bugs out of it. I like how you can see the shininess of the body. You see the reflections. Can't really see it there with the volcano in the way. But even the Lexan reflections, the Lexan in the around the cab. I love how good the graphics look in this game. I really do. And the tuning and customization, It's very, very nice. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you all for watching. This has been my own personal customized version of the Predator truck on the All-Star Challenge racing track. I have no idea if this is a real coliseum or stadium that it's supposed to be based in. It's a pretty damn big one. I don't think it's real, though. But it's a good track for racing. It's a nice long track. It's not going to end really short. And again, the possibility of going around for multiple laps is a good idea to really test the skills of the drivers and the way they have the trucks set up. But yes, thank you for watching. Join us next time for more Monster Mayhem. We will be seeing you next time. But thank you all, and good night.